On the divorce papers, I signed my name as calmly as if I were accepting an insignificant delivery. Adrian lounged on the sofa, posture lazy, contempt bare in his eyes. Serena, without me you won't last a month. I said nothing, picked up my copy and walked out. Behind me, his family's laughter chased me down the hall. They didn't know, my days of not lasting were already over. And Adrian's good days had just begun their end. Before we continue, please subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're listening. At City Hall, the red marriage booklet was swapped for the green divorce certificate. 3 years of marriage, full stop. Serena stepped outside. The sun stung and she shaded her eyes. The diamond that had once blinded her from her ring finger was long gone. Her phone buzzed. Ginger. Out. Send me the address, freedom party incoming. Serena smiled and typed. Not yet. One stop first. She would return the family registry to her parents and announce, I'm free. Across town, Adrian drove away, mood neither good nor bad, like yanking a loose tooth, annoying but finally quiet. The radio murmured market news. He half listened, yet Serena's final look flickered in his mind. Too calm. No tears, no questions, not even nostalgia. Nothing like the script he'd expected. Her on her knees, clinging, recounting 3 years of devotion. Instead, she'd signed and left. Adrian pressed the accelerator harder. Without me you won't last a month. Fact. She'd married straight out of college, 3 years outside the workforce, no job, no contacts. What could she do? Within 2 weeks, she'd crawl back crying. He tugged his tie, irritated. At the intersection ahead, a truck tore through the guardrail and slammed into him. Screeching brakes, crushing metal, then blackness. St. Horace Hospital reeked of antiseptic. Adrian woke, head splitting. Adrian! You're awake! Connor sounded close to tears. Eleanor and Stella swooped in with fuss and worry. The doctor says mild concussion and minor contusions. Buddha be praised. Eleanor chanted. Adrian waved them silent. His skull felt ready to burst, a swarm of noise buzzing inside. The door opened. A slim figure stepped in. Serena. White tee, jeans, no makeup, a manila folder in hand. Eleanor's face snapped into a scowl. What are you doing here? Come to gloat while my son's half dead, you jinx? Stella piled on. Yeah, you're divorced. Stop haunting him, shameless. Serena ignored them, stopped in front of Connor. These are the marital asset waivers Jamie asked me to sign. They're void as of now. Also, the pink vintage in his garage is my premarital property. I'll have it picked up today. Flat, businesslike, as though addressing a stranger. Adrian, propped against the headboard, watched coldly. Just as he opened his mouth. Anxious to cut ties? Another voice rang inside his skull. Well, the whole freak show survived. Hell's HR department must be slacking. Adrian jolted. Who said that? He scanned the room. Connor studying papers, Eleanor and Stella glaring, Serena lowering her eyes, silent. Concussion hallucination, he decided, rubbing his temples. He sneered aloud. Come to see if I was dying? Sorry to disappoint. Serena lifted her gaze, said nothing. But the voice returned, impatient and disgusted. Disappoint? Dream on. I came for my car keys and to check whether the pest was gone for good. Seeing you lively, I assume you'll live. Fine, paperwork done. I'm out. Ugh, this place reeks. St. Horace smells as stale as the Vance Manor. Adrian's pupils shrank, he stared. The voice from her? No, her lips never moved. You, he began. Serena finished the handoff, nodded at Connor, turned on her heel. Mission complete. Home stretch. Single life, here I come. The cheerful echo bounced in Adrian's head, then cut off the instant she disappeared. Silence crashed down. Eleanor still ranted. Look at her face, like she's widowed. No, she wanted you dead. Adrian heard none of it, stunned as if lightning had struck. He could hear Serena's inner monologue. The absurd realization hurled him into chaos for the next 7 days. Doctors declared him fit for discharge. Only he knew the world had tilted off its axis. He replayed the past obsessively. Serena the ever docile, soft-spoken, obedient. Serena who, when Eleanor scolded, murmured, Yes, mother. Who, when Stella snatched her things, smiled, Keep it if you like. Who, when he stayed away a month, simply texted, Take care. Her meekness had been wallpaper. He'd barely noticed, sometimes found it dull. Yet the voice he'd heard. Hell's HR department. Pest. Stale as the Vance Manor. Could they belong to the same woman? He refused to believe, brain trauma side effect, that was all. Until discharge day. He returned to the once shared mansion, now half empty. Her side of the closet bare, vanity stripped, the plant essential oil lineup in the bathroom gone. For the first time the house showed its cold, soulless bones. Adrian yanked off his tie and dropped onto the sofa. His phone rang. Joe, childhood friend and partner. Drinks tonight? Celebrate your freedom. Without thinking, Adrian asked, You know what Serena's up to lately? Avery laughed on the other end of the line. What, already missing her? I heard she sold the vintage she'd driven for 3 years, swapped it for a new one, and even rented an atelier. Planning to revive her old trade and make jewelry. Jewelry design? Adrian froze. He remembered that had been Serena's major in college. Yet when they married, his mother had said, A Vance's daughter-in-law doesn't need to parade herself in public. Managing the home and raising children. That is your greatest career. How had Serena replied? She had simply smiled and said, All right. For the first time, an unfamiliar emotion rippled through Adrian, one called uncertainty. He decided to go see for himself. He had to know whether that voice was real or just hallucination. Serena's atelier sat in Harborview, the city's creative zone. Small but sun-drenched. She'd poured every dollar from selling the vintage and her meager savings into equipment and rent. What remained would keep her alive for 3 months, scrimping. Yet she wasn't rattled in the least. This was her own venture, starting from zero, every step solid beneath her feet. Ginger dropped by, worried sick. Serena, won't you reconsider taking that payout Adrian offered? It's enough to open 10 ateliers like this. Serena, hunched over a silver ring shank, didn't even look up. No, I don't want any more entanglements with him. Taking his money means I'd walk 3 inches shorter whenever we meet. My spine isn't that soft. Just then the glass door swung open, and a suit-clad figure appeared on the threshold. It was Adrian. He'd lost weight, his complexion still pale, but that lofty aura hadn't diminished a whit. Ginger jumped up, instantly guarded. What are you doing here? Adrian's gaze slid past her and landed on Serena. The instant he crossed the threshold, that familiar voice drilled into his skull. Well, speak of the devil. Is my ex here to inspect the common folks' hardships? Or to check whether I've starved yet? Serena set down her tools and lifted her head, expression serene. Sam. The single word Jamie was courteous yet distant. An inexplicable tightness seized Adrian's chest. He swept his eyes over the Spartan, bordering on shabby space, and frowned. You're working in a place like this. Before Serena could answer, her inner commentary exploded. Where else? Move back into your Ocean View villa so your mom and sister can drop by daily to pick fights while your good friend Vivian plays the White Lotus? My brain wasn't kicked by a donkey. What she actually said was, I like it peaceful. Adrian's gaze fell on the half-finished ring. Simple yet distinctive, alive with spirit. He remembered something, drew a black card from his pocket, and placed it on the table. You refused the compensation in the divorce papers. Take this card, no pin. His tone dripped charity. Don't reduce yourself to this. Ginger bristled, ready to curse, but Serena silenced her with a look. Serena studied the card and smiled. Oh, classic CEO move, throwing money at me. Does he think my dignity is worthless, or that his cash can buy back everything? Naive. If I take it, tomorrow Mommy Dearest will spread the word that I'm still milking the family coffers after divorce. I'm not falling for that. She pinched the card between 2 fingers and slid it back. Jamie, thanks for the gesture. But we're square now. Whether I thrive or scrape by is none of your business. Her voice was soft, yet every word stabbed like a needle, especially when he could hear each inner retort. He stared at her, realizing for the first time that the woman he thought he knew inside out was a complete stranger. He'd mistaken her meekness for nature. It was a fire smothered. He'd taken her silence for consent. It was wordless disappointment. Adrian awkwardly pocketed the card and all but fled. He sat in the car, Serena's inner voice looping in his skull. My spine isn't that soft. He started the engine yet didn't drive off, lingering in Harborview's parking lot, eyes fixed on the lit atelier window, unmoved the entire night. Post-divorce, Serena resembled a plant uprooted from a cramped pot. Her roots and branches finally stretched free. Her talent could no longer be hidden. Within a month, several ingenious designs catapulted her onto an online designer platform. Her works, ethereal, liberated, brimming with narrative, stood leagues apart from assembly line luxury. Soon brands came knocking, and the biggest olive branch came from Luminous, the nation's top design house. Luminous founder and chief designer Logan was a legend, reclusive yet ruthless in taste. On interview day, Serena arrived prepared. A sleek suit of her own creation, portfolio in hand, poised and confident. In the boardroom, Logan occupied the head seat, dressed in a flax-colored shirt, aura gentle, eyes smiling. He flipped through her portfolio, admiration thickening with each page. Ellis, your work intrigues me. He tapped a necklace titled Break Free. A thorn-wrapped cage, door flung open, a bird mid-launch. Tell me the concept. Serena smiled. It grew from my own past. Everyone can be trapped by others' expectations or inner demons. The key is the courage to tear free and chase liberty. Logan closed the portfolio. Ellis, you're hired, Chief Designer Assistant. Are you in? Serena's eyes widened in delight. Chief Assistant, access to the industry's core resources and projects. I am. Thank you, Morgan. Outside the luminous tower, she almost leapt for joy. She whipped out her phone to text Ginger, but a push notification flashed. Adrian, CEO of Vance Industries, will attend tonight's Starlight Charity Gala. A cold profile shot of Adrian accompanied it. Serena snorted and swiped it away. Not my circus, not my monkeys. She didn't know that, as a co-sponsor, Luminous would also attend, and she, the brand new chief assistant, was required to accompany Logan. Starlight's guest list glittered. Serena wore a lake blue gown Logan had personally selected, her hair swept up to reveal the elegant curve of her neck. Around her throat coiled the collarbone chain from her own Rebirth collection, a tiny seed that seemed to crack through soil and glimmer under the chandeliers. The instant she stepped into view, heads turned. Who's that? Never seen her before. Looks like Logan's guest. One of Luminous' new hires? Logan smoothly blocked a few overeager stares and murmured at her ear. Nervous? Serena gave a faint shake of her head. Not really. Her poise only deepened the admiration in Logan's eyes. A few yards away, Adrian cradled a wineglass, his gaze riveted to her like iron to a magnet. Ever since that day, he had turned into a private investigator, devouring every scrap of news about her. He knew she had joined Luminous, knew she was now Logan's assistant. He told himself he only wanted proof of what these inner monologues really were. Yet when he saw her laughing, brilliant, radiant, beside another man, an alien emotion called jealousy tore through him. Glass in hand, he closed the distance step by step. The moment he neared, Serena's mental auto loaded. Oh ho, the ex strides in. Face black as a wok. Who owes him $8 million now? He's not here to make a scene, right? Please, one wrong move and tomorrow's tabloid headline writes itself. Shock. Tycoon spurned, goes berserk at gala. Her mind ranted while her lips curved in a polite, distant smile that pretended she hadn't seen him at all. Logan sensed the shift. Without seeming to, he shifted half a step forward, shielding her from Adrian's line of sight, and raised his glass. Jamie, long time. Adrian's eyes bored into Serena. Serena, we need to talk. Before she spoke, her thoughts fired. Talk. About Mommy Dearest's blood pressure, or which limited edition bag your sis wants next. Spare me, we're no longer in the same orbit. She merely smiled, slid her hand through Logan's arm. Sorry, Jamie. I'm working. Morgan is my superior. I can't abandon my post. The gesture stabbed Adrian like a needle. He clearly caught the almost invisible smirk tugging at Logan's mouth. Meanwhile, Serena's brain chirped. Morgan's arm, seriously solid. Skinny in clothes but ripped underneath? Oops, Serena, behave. Adrian's expression went charcoal. Just then a sugar-sweet voice wedged itself in. There you are, Adrian. Vivian drifted over in a white tulle gown, fitting herself snugly to his side. Spotting Serena, she arranged a gasp behind her fingers. Oh, Serena? You're here? The tone suggested Serena was something the cat had dragged in. Serena studied her, inwardly yawning. Here we go, classic White Lotus bit. Gasp, you exist? Next up, backhanded praise implying I slept my way in. Sure enough, Vivian continued. Serena, where are you working now? Impressive, an event like this. Unlike me, if Adrian hadn't brought me I'd never qualify. She even fluttered her lashes up at him for effect. Nearby listeners exchanged amused glances. Adrian frowned, about to speak. Then Serena's icy jeer ricocheted through his skull. To think I once took this bargain bin green tea for a friend. Hinting I warmed Logan's bed? Please, not everyone dreams of being arm candy. Serena smiled straight at Vivian, voice soft yet carrying. Cameron jokes. I'm here because Luminous employs me, and Director Logan is my boss. Unlike some who need a man to print their ticket. She paused, turned the glint of her gaze on Adrian. For the first time her eyes held naked steel. After all, I'm no longer the Serena who needed the title, Riley, to matter. She angled a polite nod to Logan. Morgan, shall we? Those auction pieces look interesting. Lead the way. Logan's smile stayed mild. He guided her away, movements seamless. They left behind Vivian's mottled flush and Adrian frozen in place. He watched Serena's back, her sentence echoing. I'm no longer the Serena who needed the title, Riley, to matter. No, she wasn't. She was Luminous designer, Logan's assistant. She was simply herself. and he, for the first time, tasted the bitter vintage of being irrelevant. Worse, as she and Logan walked off, he could practically hear her jubilant whoop. OMG, Morgan was so cool. Total boyfriend aura. And did I go full alpha? Clapping back at green tea girls feels amazing. Adrian's constipation face never gets old. Serves him right. Adrian's knuckles whitened around the glass. Amazing? She felt amazing while he burned? Regret and nameless fury braided inside him like barbed wire. After the gala, Serena's life clicked into gear. Logan gave her free rein, handing her the pivotal Stellar collection to helm. She poured herself in, sketching at dawn, racing to factories at dusk, busier than a bee and loving every second. Adrian, meanwhile, began the warm-up lap of what would become his eternal regret arc. Daily, he engineered reasons to appear outside Luminous or her atelier. One day, her favorite cake from the patisserie. Wow, still remembers my sweet tooth? Too bad, quit sugar. Take it away, it's getting between me and my grind. She never broke stride. Reception could deal with it. Next day, a bouquet of air-shipped tulips. Predictable. Also, doesn't know I'm mildly allergic? Of course not, he never bothered to ask. She had housekeeping stick them in the lobby. Third day, he showed up with soup he'd simmered himself, waiting 2 hours downstairs. When she finally left, laughing with Logan, her smile cooled at the sight of him. Adrian came forward with a thermos in hand. Serena, he haunts me like a stubborn ghost. Planning a sawback to move me? Too late. My heart's long past injured. It's poured concrete now, blast-proof, bulletproof, Adrian-proof. Serena's face stayed ice-cold. Jamie, please don't do this again. We're divorced. I don't want co-workers or my boss getting the wrong idea. Logan stepped in, voice gentle yet edged with steel. Jamie, Serena's made herself clear. If your behavior keeps disturbing her, I won't hesitate to let our legal team chat with you. Adrian looked at the two of them, one remote, one shielding, and felt like a stranger. He stood holding the soup he'd simmered for hours, a punchline in the evening wind, watching Logan open the car door for Serena, watching them drive away. His ears still heard, Serena talked to Logan and her every silent thought. Logan, he's been harassing you lately? Serena, yeah. No idea what's gotten into him. Morgan's so thoughtful. Is he worried about me? The way he just protected me. So hot. Oh no, my long-dead girly heart is restarting. Adrian's heart sank inch by inch. So she could still feel butterflies, they just no longer fluttered for him. The real storm arrived a month later at the Goldfinch Design Competition, the country's most prestigious jewelry award. Luminous had 2 finalist slots. Logan gave one to Serena without hesitation, the other to a senior in-house designer. Vivian, through tricks unknown, secured an entry for her own firm. The theme, Guardian. Serena locked herself in the atelier for 2 weeks and birthed a piece titled Bulwark. A pair of earrings whose honeycomb lattice of interlocked hexagons formed an impenetrable wall, cradling a single glowing pearl. The treasure one must guard oneself. Yet, the day before submission, her draft vanished. Security footage was wiped. The files on her computer disappeared. Serena's first thought was Vivian, but she had no proof. Ginger paced in panic. What do we do, Serena? Submission's tomorrow. There's no time to redesign. Serena stayed eerily calm. She sat at her desk, closed her eyes, inhaled. When she opened them again, her gaze was crystal. There's time. That night, she didn't go home. Goldfinch finals. One by one, finalists took the stage to present. When Vivian's turn came, she floated up in pristine white, confident. The instant her design filled the screen, Ginger shot to her feet. It was Bulwark stolen whole. Vivian's voice dripped honey. My piece, Guardian, draws from the honeycomb. I want to show that women, though delicate, grow formidable when shielding what they cherish, like bees building an unbreakable fortress. She recited Serena's concept word for word. The judges nodded, impressed. In the audience, Eleanor and Stella sat cheering. Vivian's gifted. Unlike some stay-home frump who can only cook, Eleanor crowed. Adrian sat nearby, face thunderblack. No one knew that design's provenance better. For 2 weeks he had listened to Serena shape it. Need to tweak that hex angle. No, still unstable. Pearl glow must stay soft, not flashy, something to be guarded. Asterisk Bulwark asterisk. Yes, that's the name. He'd tracked her forging it sparkle by sparkle. He knew the grind better than she. Now Vivian, once deemed gentle, was brazenly looting her work, and he could even hear Vivian gloat inside. That idiot Serena must be bawling in a corner somewhere. How will she fight me? Adrian's mine, and so is Goldfinch. Fury detonated in Adrian's chest. The MC announced, next, designer Serena. Serena climbed the stage unruffled. Vivian shot her a triumphant smirk. Everyone expected accusations or evidence brandished. Instead, Serena bowed slightly to judges and crowd. "Hello, I'm designer Serena. Before I unveil my piece, please watch this." The screen cut from renderings to surveillance footage. Vivian sneaking into Serena's studio, copying computer files. Avery and location unmistakable. Gasps swept the hall. Vivian's face bleached. "No, it's fake." Doctored. Serena smiled. "The police will verify authenticity. I filed a report yesterday. Oh, and besides the door cam, I hid a backup pinhole in a potted plant. Surprise, Cameron. Want to play mind games? You're still a rookie. Think 3 years as a trophy wife were wasted? I've watched more palace dramas than you've eaten hot meals." Adrian, hearing that thought, choked on a laugh mixed with odd pride. Vivian panicked, turning to Adrian for rescue. Adrian rose. Everyone assumed he'd defend her. He took the mic, voice glacial. "As CEO of Vance Industries, I attest that Dylan's design has unfolded before me for half a month." "Vivian," his eyes flashed loathing, "you stole another's work and tried to dupe the public. Vance Enterprises will never associate with anyone of such rotten character." The statement hammered the final nail into Vivian's disgrace. Eleanor and Stella froze, stunned. Serena glanced at Adrian, surprised. Well, the iron tree blooms. My ex speaks up for me. Did the sun rise in the west?" She dismissed it. She had her real entry to reveal. "What Cameron stole was only my rough draft," Serena declared, voice ringing with certainty. "My final piece is this." The giant screen flashed, revealing a brand new design, and the entire hall drew a sharp breath. It was a brooch called Emergence. A rigid cocoon, composed of countless hexagons, had cracked open, and a butterfly paved with paved diamonds fluttered out of the fissure, the light on its wings blinding. Real protection isn't building ramparts and wrapping yourself inside them. Serena's voice rang through the ballroom. It's having the courage to break the cocoon, to grow strong enough to weather every storm. Once you own wings, you no longer need walls. The room fell silent for several heartbeats, then thunderous applause erupted. Down below, Logan watched the woman lit by spotlights, unable to hide the softness and love in his eyes. Predictably, Serena took home that year's Goldfinch Award. She became famous overnight. After the ceremony, she was mobbed by reporters and well-wishers. She finally slipped free and pushed into the backstage lounge. The moment the door opened, she saw Adrian standing inside. "What are you doing here?" Her tone bristled with guard. He's not here to claim credit for speaking up? Does he expect gratitude? Expect me to run back? Dream on. Adrian heard her inner monologue and his throat locked. Every prepared phrase jammed. He simply stared, his eyes flooded with pain and regret Serena had never seen. "Serena, I'm sorry." At last he forced out the 3 words. "Those 3 years, I was an ass. I let greed blind me, ignored you, hurt you. Can I chase you again?" Serena looked at him and suddenly smiled. The smile held no joy, no emotion, only release. "Adrian, do you know? For the entire 3 years of marriage, what I longed for most was one glance back from you. I thought if I behaved, stayed obedient, you'd eventually see me. But I was wrong. You never loved me. Everything I did was wrong. Now I'm done waiting. I don't need it anymore." Cracked mirrors can't be made whole. Even if you force them, the fracture lines stay. I, Serena, never look back at trash. Her silent words thrust into Adrian's chest like the sharpest blade. At that moment, the lounge door opened again. Logan walked in carrying a bouquet of sunflowers. Nestled among the blooms was a small box. Without glancing at Adrian, he crossed to Serena and offered her the flowers. "Congratulations, my champion." His voice could melt sugar. Then, in front of Adrian, he went down on one knee and opened the box. Inside sat a ring of his own design, a butterfly echoing the one in Emergence. "Dylan, I'm not your fortress, but I'd like to be the wind that cheers for you and catches you when you soar. Will you give me the chance to guard you?" Serena froze. For the first time, her inner voice in Adrian's head stuttered. Wah, this is a proposal? This fast? I'm not ready, but he's so sincere, and the ring is stunning. I don't think I can refuse, Adrian stood by, watching color climb her cheeks, watching her indecision and shyness shift to joy. And under Logan's expectant gaze, she slowly nodded. "I will." Those words weren't meant for him. Adrian felt his universe implode. His gift of hearing her thoughts became the cruelest of punishments. He could clearly hear the overflowing happiness that flooded her the instant the ring slid on. Yes, I said yes. New boyfriend achieved, and it's Logan. Did I rescue an entire galaxy in my past life? Asterisk. He had lost, crushed, surrendered. From that day, Adrian never disturbed Serena again. He only drove occasionally to Luminous or the apartment she shared with Logan, lingering like a ghost. He quit smoking, quit drinking, began grappling with social niceties he once scorned. He ruined Vivian, erasing her reputation industry-wide. He shipped his mother and Stella abroad, forbidding their return. He executed every right move. Yet Serena never looked back. His supernatural tether remained. He could hear their daily sweetness. Logan's cooking is unreal. My ex-husband only knew takeout. Asterisk. He took me to see the Northern Lights tonight. So romantic. The ex once forgot our anniversary. Asterisk. Asterisk. He remembered my period and prepared brown brew tonic plus heat patches. Is this guy even real? Asterisk. Every line was public execution. He lived in colossal remorse, amplified 1,000-fold by the vivid sound of her joy. He figured this must be heaven's sentence, to watch, lucid, everything he had discarded, to dwell forever in the grand, solitary eternal regret arc designed for him alone. Epilogue. 1 year later. At a corporate cocktail party, Adrian saw Serena again. She rested her hand on Logan's arm, belly gently rounded, happiness glowing on her face. They chatted with acquaintances. She laughed freely. From his corner, Adrian instinctively tuned in to her thoughts. Asterisk. Baby's behaving today. No kicks. Logan has to read the bedtime story tonight. Asterisk. The wig on President Wong next to me is slipping. Hilarious. A bitter smile tugged at Adrian's lips. Then a violent headache slammed him. The room spun. He braced against the wall as something was ripped from his mind. Seconds later, the pain vanished. Silence, total, terrifying. He could no longer hear Serena's inner voice. No more quips, no more delight, nothing. After a year of noise, an abrupt vacuum howled in his skull. Adrian froze. He shoved through the crowd until he stood near her. She tilted her head toward Logan, beaming. Silence. Only ballroom music and distant chatter filled his world. Know her. The single, one-way thread that bound them had snapped. He was banished completely from her orbit. Adrian stood amid shifting bodies and glittering lights, colder and more panicked than ever. He had been left in an eternal quiet. Asterisk. Thanks for listening. If you liked the story, please like and share it with friends. We look forward to your comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.